Hey everyone, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you are having a fantastic Sunday. Thank you to everybody who gave us all of the positive comments this week from our Taycan video. I know it took a really long time to produce, but I'm really glad that it's finally up online and we are going through the rest of our back catalogue. So get ready for the final videos from CES, some videos from Fully Charged Live, including a collab with Rich from Rich Rebuilds, and tons of other cool stuff. But that's not what I want to talk to you about today. You see, it's come to my attention over the last month or so that Europeans and Americans think very differently when it comes to cars. And it was a fact that was reinforced by what turned out to be a bit of a bloodbath on the Fully Charged Live Can Tesla Be Caught panel that Chelsea Sexton moderated at Fully Charged Live this year. I finally got round to finishing watching that video. I wish I could have seen it live, but I was doing other things at that point at the show, so couldn't actually get there live. But watching that and watching some of you comment in the comments section and just thinking about my own relationship with cars has got me to a point where I have a theory about how Europeans and Americans view cars differently. And as someone who is both a European by birth and an American by naturalization, I hope that I have experience enough to talk to both sides of this, but I want your input obviously at the end of the video. You see, I think Europeans, for the most part, tend to think of their cars as being more tools, objects that help you get a job done. In 90% of use case scenarios for a vehicle, that means getting from point A to point B. They are a functional thing that you own that helps you get around. Whereas I think a lot of Americans, not all Americans, but a lot more Americans tend towards my car is an extension of who I am as a person. It is a status symbol. It is a demonstration of my values and how I feel about the world I live in. Why do I think this? Well, because I've noticed recently in some of the comments to videos when we've been discussing European cars made by European manufacturers, the comments about the fit, finish and trim come up, or rather the tendency of certain automakers like Renault, for example, to use plastic in their cars is far more common than it might be in US brands. And when a US car company does make a car with quite a plastically interior, think about the Chevrolet Bolt EV, it takes a lot of criticism from people who say this car feels cheap and tacky. I like my Chevrolet Bolt EV because of the interior's feel. It doesn't feel too flashy. It doesn't feel like it's a car that I'm going to feel really bad if I scratch it up or I make, a mess inside. It feels a little bit more rugged than some cars might feel to me with a premium feel. And I understand that a car with a premium interior might actually be more rugged because it might have higher quality materials that are more likely to resist damage. So I understand that. But coming at this from a European kind of perspective, I think I tend towards picking cars that are more rugged, that will get the job done, that will be more functional for me. And function is much more important than bells and whistles. And thinking back to the Porsche Taycan and the review I did this week on that vehicle, in that review, somebody said, well done for reviewing this as a Porsche. And thinking about that, I was like, well, yeah, because it's a Porsche. It's a high-end luxury car. And so therefore I reviewed it as such. But the majority of my daily driving needs are not for a luxury high-end electric sports car. They're for a rugged, get the job done vehicle. And I think I finally codified why a Tesla doesn't feel right to me. Personally, I think the Teslas, all of them, are great vehicles, and I would love to own any one of them as a car that would be a high-end luxury car that I drove when I knew I wasn't going to mess the interior up. But I have a real problem buying a high-end premium vehicle and then messing the interior up. It's kind of that sort of part of my brain that risks making mistakes or screwing things up. And so therefore I'm more likely to go with a more rugged vehicle. I live in the countryside, and so I'm looking for a more rugged vehicle. Putting a tow hitch on my car was a no-brainer because I live in the countryside and I wanted the practicality of having a tow hitch so that I could, go and get soil for my garden and all of those other things. And I think that is a more European way of thinking about cars. And listening, as I said, to the exchanges, there was one point in the panel that I mentioned earlier on at Fully Charged Live, where someone was arguing in the audience with another audience member about opinions on cars. And they basically someone said something along the lines of, oh, you're so American in your views. There are other countries and other views around the world. Sorry, my neighbour just got back to his studio. There's actually another studio next door to me. It's kind of crazy. 2 podcast studios next to each other, or 2 video content studios right next to each other. He's just got back. And I'm standing in the office, and so his car went beep, as cars do. And this is a Sunday musing, so we just do a one take. We don't worry about cutting such things out. Anyway, so the idea that Europeans look for more rugged vehicles is something that you could easily tear down, because we have luxury premium brands from Audi, we have BMW, of course we have Porsche, we have Mercedes-Benz. So in Germany, I know the luxury automotive brands, you do have that more kind of rugged feel. But I'm guessing that the more practical, cheaper vehicles exist in Europe more readily because Europeans are more ready to buy them. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm really keen to try and codify the difference in mindset between an EV buyer in Europe and an EV buyer in America and an EV buyer elsewhere in the world, because I really do think there is this massive gulf of difference. And I think Europeans do want a car that's cheap and affordable to run. And if it's got bells and whistles, well, that's great. Whereas I think other markets like America, they want all the gadgets. They want the flashy side of things. I hope I haven't offended anybody in this, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Shoot me down in flames if you think I'm wrong, or if you think I'm onto something. Let me know how you think that is the case. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. You can support us through Patreon or Ko-fi, or you can buy some swag from our swag store. I'll be back tomorrow with more great content for you all to enjoy. But until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, keep evolving.